Hey team, wanted to make a video. I don't know if I've made this video, but it's relevant because I just made the video um, on vegetarian vegan options and how I don't even think of other places as places to go to congregate because if they don't have foodstuffs that I want, then I just don't think of it. Or so I did want to share this though. I went to an event. It was a bunch of like really like not it was nonprofit organizations, and it was a very nice event, and um, they had catered in and they were trying to treat everybody, and so they had these wraps. And I said, "Oh, I don't want one. I'm vegetarian." I think at the time I was vegan, so I said, "Oh no, thanks. I'm vegan. I don't think I'll be able to eat any of your wraps that were catered in." And they're like, "Oh well, no, no, that's okay. That's okay. I'll just take the chicken out." And so I did. That is something that is a personal preference. I don't care for that when you just take it out because it still has the meat juices. And so I was polite. I was like, "No, that's okay. No, I just don't want any. Thank you." And then the person didn't listen, and they ended up bringing me a wrap, even though I said no like multiple times. "No, thank you. I don't want a wrap." They brought one to me anyway. And so I was like, "Oh, wow." I felt special. I was like, "Oh my gosh, they've made something special for me after, because I said no." And, like they're being really conscientious of my dietary preferences. And so I started eating it, and it became obvious that they literally did just take the chicken out, even though I said, "No, I don't want that because I don't eat the chicken juice. I don't want the wrap." And it became evident, like, after I took one bite, you know, that they had just taken it out. And I was like, that goes against what I believe. I don't want to eat this. But I think I took another bite anyway, and just out of politeness, and like, I found glass in it. The person had gotten so upset that because like I said no once, and then they came back, and I was like, "No, no, 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 no." You could tell that they had consternation or getting upset. They came back and they brought me this against my will. They had taken the meat out, and then they had even put glass in it. So I think I swallowed a piece, maybe two pieces, because I felt something crunchy in the wrap, and and I swallowed, and then I found some crunchy again. And so finally I like took it out, and I had it in my hand, and it was broken glass. So then I stopped eating, and then I excused myself. It was the end of the event when they were like, "No, get rid of, we're getting all these wraps out, taken care of." So I excused myself. I went back to my workplace because it was for work. It was a work event. It was a professional event. And I did end up emailing saying, "Hey, I explained the situation. I said that I didn't want one of the wraps because I have an alternative diet." And then they essentially forced me to take one against my will. And then so I thought that they had actually catered to what I was grateful that like that they actually were going to take the time. And then they had me eat glass. And so I was upset. I told them, and they were like, "Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. We spoke with the catering staff, and they obviously don't know anything about it." Um, of course. And so like there was nothing like glass even there. Like what could they have broken to put in it? And they're like, "I don't know." There were volunteers handing out the the wraps anyway. There were volunteers handing out the wraps anyway. So it was, there was, who can say, but it was just like literally like in my hand glass. And so I was like, I emailed. There was nothing they could do, essentially. So, and I swallowed glass. And so you just have to be careful who, like, some people really do not understand alternative lifestyles. And they want to be nice so bad that they get upset when you don't accept their, like, when you can't, or you don't. I guess I was a snob. I was a snob because I didn't want you to take the chicken out of the wrap. So out of kindness, you make me eat glass. Because I didn't accept your generosity and your free item, um, because I have an alternative lifestyle, and so then you force me to eat glass. It completely goes against being a nice person, and like the entire good element of the offer is completely nullified at that point. So it's like, wow. And I was grateful. I was like, oh wow, so they must have had, the catering staff must have made something specifically for me. That's so nice. And then glass. So that is the story. Just be careful, just be conscientious. Have grace. Definitely speak with them if they do force feed you glass, because that's really unacceptable. That's very unacceptable behavior. I've had some people spit into my burger previously. I actually worked in food service when everyone spit in someone's drink because they were being rude. And so that is actually a real phenomenon, legitimately. I've had someone spit on my burger. I don't know why, per se. I was with my family. It was their idea to go there. My grandfather was in a hospital, and so it was just like a very dramatic, and then spit in my burger. I don't know if it was because it was a black bean burger. Maybe they didn't have it, or they had to go to great lengths to find it, or I don't know, but sometimes food service isn't that cute, and people can abuse their power, and there is no like required degree, there's no required morality to work in food service. There is food service certifications for excellence and for trainings, but that doesn't mean people have to follow it. And so being conscientious is a good idea. So with that, I'm going to stop this video, but I wanted to tell you just about that experience, because it was not cute, and it was supposed to be a nice offer, and it was one of those, like, I didn't want to be high maintenance. I knew that I was going to be high maintenance, which is why I said no. I said no twice, and then I ate glass after presuming that they were actually being generous. So when all they wanted was to be polite, all they wanted was to be kind, and then I had to eat glass. That's ridiculous. So, all right, ending this conversation. Have a great day. Bye.